let's start it right off here talking about the Eagles here because let's be honest, the Eagles are the team here that won the Super Bowl. They are the best team in the division. I hate to say it, but let's be honest, they are. Pains me a little, hurts me a little here, but we got to be honest about what they are. But they're also a team that, had some issues with age in the secondary. They did a good job of fixing that last year. Again, as much as I hate to admit it, with Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. They've also had, they've lost some edge rushers and defensive tackles over the last couple of years here to retirement, free agency, all that kind of fun stuff there. Lost a guard, obviously, in Mekhi Becton this offseason as well. So they definitely had some holes to fill. So let's go over how they did it. So they started off with their first pick was trading up to the team that they beat in the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs. So that way they can go ahead and leapfrog the other team that there's a couple of teams I should say that were talking about it, but talking about leaping the Chiefs at that point there to go ahead and get Jihaad Campbell out of Alabama. Now the rumor is the Cleveland Browns were the team that really wanted to move up to get him. It's interesting because we've talked about them when we talked about Jackson Dart as well, because there was talks about the Browns wanting to move up back then to get Jackson Dart. Again, I've said it on Sunday. I'll say it again. Who knows who they're looking to move up to get? They were definitely looking to move up, though. That we can tell you. Maybe they're looking to get Campbell that early. Who knows? I mean, he's a good pickup, honestly, guys. I thought it was a really good steal to get him with the second to last pick in the draft for the Eagles. Again, as much as I hate to give these guys kudos here, 6'3", 244 pounds. He's 21 years old. Jersey boy, too, on top of that. This past season, 13 games, 117 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, interception, 2 passes deflected, 81.6 PFF grade. Guys, we had this guy listed as literally our top off-ball linebacker, middle linebacker, whatever term you guys want to use for this draft here. I thought he was underrated the way he was ranked, actually. We thought he'd go probably end of first round, beginning of the second round. So he went exactly where we thought he would go. Though I said point blank when we did the scouting of him that he was a guy that, quite frankly, is mid-first round talent. I'll stand by that. I do think he is that good. Again, I hate to say nice things about a guy that the Eagles got, but this is why we go ahead and do some of the scouting, like that beforehand too. So we can't change our minds if a team we don't like gets them. But he's a playmaker. He's got great size. He's speedy. He processes things very well. He's versatile. He can actually be used as an edge rusher if they need to be on certain plays as well. The only things with him is he does get a little overly aggressive and does have trouble getting off bigger blockers. But again, great pick. I think it's an absolute steal where they got him. I really do. Again, I think he got drafted where most of the NFL world had him. But we here on this show had him as a mid-first round talent, even though we expected him to not go nearly, that early there. Second round pick for them. So the second round pick is pick 64. They got Andrew Mukuba out of Texas, one of the highly touted safeties in this draft here. Also played a few years over at Clemson, 6 foot even, 190 pounds, 22 years old. Originally from Zimbabwe, and then went to Austin, Texas there to go to high school. Was ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year with his time at Clemson there, freshman All-American, so really had a great start to his career. This past year, 15 games, 69 tackles and 4 tackles for loss, 5 interceptions. And he's a true deep safety, this kid is. 508 of his snaps were in the deep safety, only 129 in the box, 71 in the slot. So he can pop down to the slot and cover if need be, but he's definitely more of that center fielder kind of guy. Third team All SEC. Really, though, an up and down career he's had. So he's got you see the spurts of him, and listen, if he played like he plays when he's up the whole time, he would have been a first round pick all day long. I'm telling you that right now, point blank. If he had played as good as he does in his ups, he would have been a first round pick. But he definitely has some of the downs as well. So you got to include that as part of that. Is that coaching? Is that him just not being consistent and having mental lapses? Again, we don't know. We don't know him personally, but it's something the Eagles will have to figure out. And I hate to say, I hope they don't, because I don't want to root against the kid, but he is an Eagle now. I gotta have to. but he did lead the SEC in interceptions this past season. Like I said, playmaker, very instinctive. He's a bit smaller. He's not great at tackling. He also does get overly aggressive, and he's had some injury issues at Clemson, which obviously partially could be, at the very least, part of the issues he had as far as his up and down of the parts of the career. Again, they got him in the second round. We had a third round grade on him. So I definitely think he got drafted early, but, not like insanely early. It's like they took a guy, that we thought might not even get drafted in the fourth round or something. Or did they? Fourth round pick 111, defensive tackle Ty Robinson out of Nebraska was their next pick. We didn't even scout this guy. Now, again, I say it all the time. Rob and I are not Mel Kiper. We're not, some big name people. We don't try to appear to be or act like we are. But we do a lot of scouting for the draft. I think we scout usually about 150 players each year. 150. This is pick 111. We didn't scout him. He wasn't on our radar as being one of the top 150 players. 6'5", 288 pounds. He's 23 years old, though. As we're recording this is the last day of April. May 3rd is his birthday. He'll be 24. So he's definitely on the older side there. From Gilbert, Arizona. This past season, 13 games, 37 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 4 passes deflected, and a forced fumble. So not a bad year for him. Not a bad year at all. But his career overall, 6 years. Keep in mind, so again, been in college a long time. 60 games, 134 tackles, 27 tackles for loss, 12 sacks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery as well. So basically, like half of his tackle for losses, his sacks, all the important stats like that you really want to see from somebody who's got some pass rush ability, which, Robinson, again, did have this past year. Half his stats came in this last year, his 6th year. Why? Because for most people, they'd be in their 2nd year of NFL at this point. Let's be honest. Like the term "men amongst boys" gets thrown a lot for talent differences. This is an age difference, men against boys kind of things. Like this is a guy who's an adult, been drinking for several years legally. Like that's not your typical guy in college. We talk about the COVID years all the time. We're hoping this is the last draft. We talk about players with the COVID years and all. He started playing college in 2019, guys. Like pre-COVID. So it's been a while. Think about how long ago that was. COVID happened. Well, when that happened, he already finished his first year of college. He's been in for a while. Bleacher reports that Ty Robinson is a draftable player. First off, that's hilarious. He's a draftable player. You got him in the 4th round. Based on the impressive movement skills he showed on tape and the athletic testing numbers he put at the combine, that gives him the potential to contribute as an interior pass rusher down the line. He's already effective on line games and has a decent club by move to serve as his foundation. However, Robinson struggles in the run game, has short arms, and needs to improve his use of hands as a pass rusher. While the latter can be developed, he's a 6-year senior who has this technique issue and might be limited given his lack of arm length. Overall, the Nebraska project is worth taking a chance on in later rounds of the draft, especially for an odd front team that's looking for a 4-eye technique. Listen, guys, here's the problem part I run into this. You see players sometimes, and you go, "What the hell? Like, this is the guy." Like, I don't see it. But at the same point, you look sometimes, and you go, "But it is the Eagles. Like, they've had really good luck in the draft." And I say luck, it's quotations. With drafting, there's a little bit of luck, but there's also a lot of knowledge and a lot of just being good at it. So, I don't want to sit there and bash the Eagles as much as I love bashing the Eagles. I don't want to bash the Eagles for who they picked here because they have the track record that you can sit there and go, "Oh, they seem to be knowing what they're doing lately." Hate to say it, but I'm trying to give you guys honest reactions, honest feedback, and honest assessment here. So it's a little bit of a puzzling pick for me, but it would be just the way the Eagles have been lately that this kid pulls into all of a sudden being, a great backup that they can bring up on third downs and break down the pocket in the middle of the line there. It just would be the way they've been lately. Round 5, pick 114. Cornerback Mac McWilliams out of UCF, Central Florida there. Not again, another guy not scouted by us before the draft. He started his career over at University of Alabama, Birmingham, UAB, from 20 to 23, so just the 1 year over at UCF. 5'10", 191 pounds, 23 years old from Pensacola, Florida. This past year, 11 games, 32 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, a sack, an interception, 2 passes deflected, and forced fumble, and 81.6 PFF grade. It's not a bad PFF grade there, but again, UCF, not exactly playing some of the better schools there. Now, I wanted to look at what they did and who they played this year, because again, UCF, not as it's a tiny school, but it's not exactly a powerhouse. There's 2 games that really popped out to me. Iowa State. Again, Iowa State had 2 guys drafted pretty high at the receiver in there. Arizona, obviously, Arizona with Tet had literally the highest, draft number there of any of the wide receivers in this draft here. Look at the numbers. And again, I will tell you guys point blank, I did not sit there and spend hours watching film on people the Giants did not pick. I'm not going to do that. But look at the numbers, and those receivers crushed UCF in those games. This is one of the things I talked about when it came to like some of the the Colorado players. Not to bring up Shedeur Sanders in every draft episode, but the guys like him and Travis Hunter, and I said it also matters who they played, because these guys didn't play a lot of top end talent. Well, neither did UCF, but when they did, these receivers really did very well against them. It's a Bleacher Report positives. Very good zone defender who splits the threads well, keeps leverage, and shows good ball skills. Tracks the ball well. It stays calm with the ball in the air. Quick footwork and backpedal and transitioning. Drives in the ball with good twitch. And aggressive defender who triggers quickly to what he sees. Uses his quicks to beat blockers and does a good job tackling. Shoots at the ball carrier's legs and wraps him to bring him down. They also said negative on him. Undersized cornerback who lacks ideal height and length. Lack of size can show up in coverage in a running game. And inconsistent transitions can lead to separation. Can get stuck out of his break at times when pressed with speed, and has shown to not fully trust what his eye see, leading to delays in breaking. So again, got some issues. And it's weird because they're showing a combination. Got issues with what he does as far as his technique, but he's also got issues with his size, which, let's be honest, you can't coach size. So, I don't know what their plan is with him. Again, it's the guy that I didn't even think would be drafted this high, to be honest. I thought he'd be a late day 3 pick. So we didn't do a ton of scouting him beforehand, but I'm familiar with the name from just watching film in general. I feel like this is another one that, again, a bit puzzling. And for those who watched our coverage of the draft last year, I said point blank that the Eagles crushed it with what they got in the secondary. With Quinyon Mitchell alone, I was a huge Quinyon Mitchell fan. But, getting him and getting, Cooper Jean later on, a great combo for them. This is a corner pick that I got to say, I don't get. I don't see what they see. Really don't. Next up, round 5, pick 161. Linebacker Smile Mondon from Georgia. 6'3", 235 pounds, 22 years old, from Dallas, Georgia. Was second team all SEC in 23. This past year, 10 games, 57 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 3 passes deflected, and a 72.4 PFF grade. Got good size and length. He's solid in coverage, a good tackler. Not exactly a great run defender, though. He does lack strength. He's also not a great blitzer, but he's won sometimes with his motor, not necessarily his strength or his moves. And he's had a lot of injury issues the last 3 years. We said day 3 pick for him. He's actually where they got him. So I can't say it's an over or under kind of thing. I got to think this is a guy they're thinking as a special teamer and just see what you can develop, Matt. So, I can't knock the pick if that's the case. 5th round, pick 168. They got the center out of Boston College, Drew Kendall. Now, they list him as a guard and center as well. So it tells you that they don't know quite where his place is going to be yet. 6'4", 285, 23 years old, from Norwell, Massachusetts. Again, 285, obviously a very undersized, most NFL circles there. Son of Pete Kendall, the former Boston College guard and first-round pick at the Seahawks back in 96, who played until 2008. 38 games in a 4-year career, including 13 in the last year, 78.8 PFF grade last season. Got good speed and athleticism, good pass protection, blocks in space, good snapper, which is key. Some guys we talked about at center position were not very good at snapping the ball at all. He's smart. He does have small size, though. He's not strong, and he does have trouble with the best defensive tackles he saw. He's definitely a guy that, again, Boston College, you play kind of the medium schools at that point there. When he had to face tougher competition, you definitely saw it on tape. And I think a lot of that, to be honest, is that strength issue. So he's going to have to go into the gym if the Eagles wanted to succeed, probably. We had him as a late day 3 pick. Again, 5th round. It's more of a mid-day 3 pick, but, you can't complain. That's not a crazy spot for him. Obviously they see something they like at that point. Then they got in the 6th round, pick 181, Kyle McCord out of Syracuse. I know a lot of Giants fans were talking about him. Let's be honest here. Us Giants fans, we had different quarterbacks we loved in the latter rounds. We're like, this guy's the steal. This guy's the one. This one's the one that's going to make it. Me was Dylan Gabriel, which I know wasn't the popular pick there. But Kyle McCord definitely had his people that he liked. The big thing about Kyle McCord really was he works half the field. There's some things you like, but he works half the field. I think the best case scenario that for them, at least for the Eagles, which, again, I hate to root against the kid, but you went to the Eagles. I got to kind of root against you here. Their best case scenario is that they're going to go ahead and develop him to be a serviceable backup for Jalen Hurts that's cheap for the next couple of years. That's really probably their best case scenario. Let's be honest. Jalen Hurts has got a big contract. He's not going anywhere anytime soon. But let's say hypothetically, McCord becomes your backup. He gets hurt. Jalen Hurts got hurt, and McCord comes in and does a decent job. Well, they trade bait. That's probably the move they're making at that point there. Get a cheap backup that could be trade bait down the line, and he's cheap. That's the key part. Cheap. And I've said it before, guys. I think with that offensive line and the weapons around him, I think pretty much any quarterback can succeed. People take that as a knock at Jalen Hurts. I don't mean it as a knock at Jalen Hurts. I just mean it's an honest assessment. Got great receivers, got one of the best running backs in all of football, if not the best. Got one of the best, if not if not one of the best offensive lines. Got a really good tight end. I mean, you name a spot in that offense, it's an issue. That's why you keep on seeing so many defensive players being drafted. They're trying to replenish what they've lost on defense, but offensively, they've been pretty solid. Next up, round 6, 191, tackle Miles Hinton out of Michigan. Another guy we did not grade our scout really before this draft. As my comrade here, Rob, is officially in the building here.
Oh, hello.
Hello. So we're up to 6th round here for the Eagles here. You didn't so it's round 6, 191, Miles Hinton out of Michigan. Played the last 2 years there. Prior to that, to 3 years over at Stanford, 6'7", 323, 23 years old from Johns Creek, Georgia. This past 10 games, a 69.0 PFF grade. Listen, Michigan's a legit school. They play in a legit college conference.
This is true.
Grade under 70. Woo! I'm sorry. That means PFF don't like you.
No.
No. So there's definitely some issues there. Played left tackle this past season. Played right tackle the 2 seasons prior, both his first season in Michigan and his last one over at Stanford. Bleacher Reports right up on him. They said overall Hinton has shaky sustained skills in the run game due to erratic technique and footwork. However, he has the building blocks of a swing tackle due to his combination of size, light feet, and quickness to match up one-on-one in pass protection and lead around the edge in the run game. So, again, we haven't done much work on him. We didn't have him on our list of players to scout because we just didn't have him that high. But if Bleacher Report's correct and they think he's a guy you can develop into a swing tackle, that's not bad to get him a 6th-round pick. It makes you think there that obviously with the low PFF grade and the issues he's having is, the technique issues they're mentioning here, the footwork issues and all. So, he's going to have to work on that, try to get it fixed. But again, let's be honest. The Eagles have a tendency to find players and fix these kind of issues. It's just they have really good coaching. I hate to say it, but it's the truth.
Sally, you're not wrong.
No,
they have done a fantastic job at drafting their bench.
Just even fixing things in general. Look at Mekhi Becton last year.
Yeah.
Bet Jets fans miss him now.
Well, Jets fans also know they don't know how to handle their picks properly.
Or anything properly.
This
picks
true.
Properly, free agents properly, veteran quarterbacks properly, coaching issues properly. Yeah. Wasn't the guy, by the way, who got caught with the prank phone calls and his son? Wasn't that the guy that the Jets had as their interim head coach last year?
I
think it was.
He definitely was a coach. Jeff Irsay, like he was.
No, not Irsay. Right. Irsay is the Colts owner.
Yeah, sorry.
Let me see. I'm gonna look it up real quick. I'm curious. Yeah, it was. It was the guy who is now the head coach, the defense coordinator, sorry, at the Falcons, whose son got caught with the prank phone calls and all. That's crazy. The Jets are always involved in the BS.
One way or another.
Jay says, Eagles have better content creators too. Hey,
wait a minute.
Hey,
let's go listen to Philly, traitor.
We represent that remark.
Represent it.
Womp. Anyway, next up they got so many picks, it's not even funny in round 6 here. Pick 207, tackle Cameron Williams out of Texas. So they're going back to the tackle well again. Now, this is a guy they picked 16, so almost half a round later. And I guys, he was a better pick. He's a better pick than Hinton. 6'5", 335 pounds, 21 years old, from Duncanville, Texas. Been playing at Texas. 25 career games. So he is still much more raw, that's for sure. 15 games last year, a 67.4 PFF grade. So another guy with a low PFF grade. Not that that's all, but again, I'll take a low PFF grade on a guy who is, again, 25 career games, basically 2 seasons of actually playing football, compared to a guy who was, 5 years in college. That's a little different there. Just a little different. All his snaps are at right tackle, so he doesn't necessarily show the versatility that you want as a swing tackle guy. He's got long arms, powerful, strong hands, can pull. Does have trouble with speed rushers, though, and is a little slower himself. Hand placement issues and technique issues. Again, a guy that you could develop. Where they got him, again, a late 6th round. I think that's a good pickup for him. We thought he was going to go like round 3, round 4, around there. Mostly because he was the guy that some people really thought was the guy that you have to work with for a little bit, but you could really develop him into something good. So to get him in the 6th round, I think was a pretty good pickup there. And I know it wasn't with tackles dropping this draft. There was definitely a few tackles that dropped that I was a little shocked by. We said we scouted Cameron. I remember saying that whoever gets him in the 3rd round probably is going to regret it because he's a working project. You don't really want a project in the 3rd round. No. In the 6th round, that's exactly where you take a project. So
100%, especially that caliber.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm not going to hate the pick. I'm actually going to say I like the pick, even though, again, I hate to. Like, we just have to start at the end of the show, start bashing all the NFC East teams that we're giving kudos to. I feel like that's what we got to do.
But then, by the way, they freaking stink.
Yes. Enjoy your crappy steak-em sandwiches that they think are good.
They think that the Geno's cheesesteaks are the best. Come to Seaside. Go to Cheesesteak Louie's.
I've heard Camden actually has very good cheesesteaks. They make them on hard rolls instead of on the grinder rolls kind of things.
Huh.
I've never found that out, though, so I don't want to get stabbed or shot.
Well, I go there during a day for work sometimes. So I'm going to have to try it.
We'll have to try this out. Special report. Yeah. Just look it up. The best play. I'm telling you, it is different. If I remember correctly, it was Camden that does the round, cheese sticks. Let me see. I'm looking it up to verify I'm right on that before I sound like a complete fool. Well, I don't know. We always talk about food. I don't know. It's bad.
For fatties.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a place called Donkey's Place, which apparently is known as the as the one the best one. In fact, Anthony Bourdain went there and said it may be the best cheesesteak he ever had.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's listen. He wasn't all about the BS in there. He's pretty good. So, yeah. So Donkey's Place you'll have to go to. Donkey. Anyway,
Donkeys.
it's like the weird things that we bring up in the show, but it happens.
Oh, there's multiple locations. There's another one in Mount Holly.
Oh, see? Jay says Rob's junk food recommendations are very valuable. Who's going to recommend it? He hasn't been there. When he comes back, though, he will let us know.
Oh no, he's talking about Cheesesteak Louis.
Oh, Cheesesteak Louis? He says he knows what he's talking about. I don't. Where's Cheesesteak Louis? I never heard of that.
Seaside.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't know. I don't really go to Seaside very often.
I mean,
I used to think when I was younger, get drunk and go to Club Bamboo, but
it's no longer there.
I know it wasn't. I know it's not. It wasn't for the cheesesteaks I went for, by the way.
No.
Yeah, there definitely might have been some roast beef involved, but it was. Anyway, round 6.
Well, St. Patty's Day, they had strawberry sandwiches.
Oh gosh. Round 6, 209. Again, this is ridiculous, guys. Like, let's see, 1, 2, 3. This is 3 6-round picks now. They had like 10% of the picks in the 6th round here. Antoine Powell Ryland out of Virginia Tech. Another guy, again, we'll tell you point blank if we haven't looked at it before. We did not scout this player. So
no, we did scout.
Oh God,
Cheesesteak Louis. So if you guys want to sponsor you, listen.
Cheesesteak Louis, 2 Giant Goofballs at mail.com.
Appreciate it.
We will also work for free cheesesteaks, but fair warning, you have to ship mine to Florida. Just saying. JD says your food picks are better than your draft picks. Hey, we were dead on, by the way, with a lot of the draft. I think we had 8 of the first 11 picks right or something like that.
Close to it.
The ironic thing was the one we got nowhere near close was the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people thought Shedeur was the top 5. So
I honestly thought it was smoke and mirrors, that all this BS they were talking about towards the end. But if everything had come out that we now know, I would have definitely said no. He's not going to be the pick, because you can't talk trash at Daboll in a meeting and think you're going to get picked by him. He's not that guy.
Yeah.
No. Anyway,
you're eating too many cheesesteaks if that's the case.
Cheese sticks. Anyway, Powell Ryland out of, like I said, Virginia Tech the last couple of years. It had 3 years over at Florida before that as well. So another long in the tooth draftee here. This past season, 12 games, 43 tackles, 19 tackles for loss, 16 sacks, 3 fumble recovers, and 3 forced fumbles. Not a bad season. Not a bad season at all. But remember, we talked about players where half their stats are in 1 year. Yeah, this is what we're at again here, guys. 5-year career, 52 games, 117 tackles. 400. 400. I wish we had a player with 400 and some odd in any kind of career total. We pick him ourselves in a heartbeat. 42 tackles for loss. So again, 19 this past year, 42 on his career. 30 sacks for his career. Again, 16 this past. So you see the trend of what we're going here with. 1 pass deflected, 6 fumbles recovered, 9 forced fumbles. So yeah, definitely had a decent amount of his career totals this past year. He also got a 78.6 PFF grade this year. PFF gave a little write-up on him. They said this year's draft class is particularly deep in edge rusher, meaning quality players can be found on day 3. One of those prospects is Antoine Powell Ryland, who may slide down draft boards due to his shorter than ideal arm length. However, his on-field production speaks for itself. Powell Ryland has been one of the most productive pass rushers in the country, posting an 89.8 pass rush grade in 23 and an 85.2 in 24. In 24 alone, we already gave the stats, and we'll skip that part here. He said they say a technician with multiple pass rushing moves. Tyler Ryland has delivered several multi-sacks performances, totaling 5 games with multiple sacks over the last 2 seasons. That includes a 4-sack game. That's 4 sacks, a pretty impressive game. He became the first Virginia Tech player since 2005 to notch 10 or more sacks in a season. He's amassed 128 career pressures as well. So, yeah, like I said, this is an interesting pickup to get a guy with that kind of production in, your last pick, very tail end of round 6. I gotta say that's a quality pickup for them.
Yeah,
I've kind of a little head scratched on a couple of their picks. That's a quality pick, and I don't think they're thinking of him as a guy anything more than a pass rush specialist to start off with there to see what he develops. But for a team that lost Reddick, obviously you got people retiring left and right on their defense there. Lost Hargraves obviously a couple of years ago. Obviously Bryce Huff wasn't exactly what they hoped for last year. They got a decent guy at the end of this draft here that has shown something in college. He's got to see if he can now translate that to the NFL. But obviously, most NFL people don't think he can if he's a 6th-round pick. Let's be honest. But like I said, it's an interesting one. That's out of all their picks, guys that we didn't scout beforehand. This is the one that I'm like, I'm going to remember this name, and I'm kind of curious to see what he does.
Yeah.
That's pretty good there. So overall, though, I'm kind of mixed on what the Eagles did. Again, I like their first pick. They got up with the one pick and got the player they wanted. We thought was the best all-ball linebacker in this draft. They got a decent safety for their second pick, drafted him probably a little early. Then they got a couple players for the defense that, quite frankly, we didn't even have nearly being a 4th and 5th round pick. We had them more like 6th, 7th round guys. Got a backup linebacker, has some injury issues, but an athletic guy that picked him right where we thought. Went ahead and got a guard/center, exactly where we thought. Pick up a couple tackles. I mean, they got a lot of depth in this whole thing. That's where they went. They went for depth because that's what they had. They had a lot of late picks. So I don't love what they did because there's definitely some players I think they reached for. But they did enough in this draft that I can't say that it's a horrible draft either. I would say like a B-.
All right. I mean, I was giving a little more credit than you were. I was going to say just a B, possibly B+, but because of a couple of reaches that they made. But I mean, what they did with the late round picks, you can't be mad. And they've been notorious of drafting their depth and bringing them up from the farm and putting them on the field and then replacing them with more depth pieces in their draft and bringing them back up and then paying their top 3 players half their salary cap.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I and it's like I said, that's why I have trouble questioning at this point anything they do.
Yeah.
Because they've been very good at what they do for a long time now. I
was like, because of some of the reaches early on, like I want to say B, but like, I mean, they went out, they got, the first round draft pick where they picked him, like fantastic pick and good stuff late round.
I'm not looking forward to seeing Campbell twice a year. No, I'm really not.
I'm going to go ahead and settle with a B.
Okay, so you got a B?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me.
Bumblebee.
A bumblebee? Is it a bumblebee tuna? I love bumblebee tuna.
Your goofballs are showing.
My goofballs are showing? What?
Yeah, bumblebee tuna.
Oh my god! All right, so let's.
Ace Ventura.
I don't remember that at all.
That was the second one.
That's why I don't remember it. Nobody watched the second ones again.
Oh,
we all got excited when it first came out, and then realized it just wasn't nearly as good as the first one.
Rewatch it. It was ahead of its time.
Listen, I don't think anything is going to work now. Ace Ventura. That's one of those things you go back now and go, okay, how did this be thought of as funny? It doesn't age well to my mind.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not as funny. Anyway.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much. Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.